Verus Global Television.
So the importance of celebrating in the workplace. Everyone seems to intellectually understand why it's so critical, yet emotionally, are we making it happen? Are we all in on ensuring that we're celebrating our progress? I don't know about you, but when I work, it can be a burden. And aren't we supposed to be enjoying this? I'm struck by a father, this is a couple of years ago, but the story sticks in my mind like it was yesterday. He started to look at his life and he realized, there's not a lot of celebration. And he decided he would start at home so he could practice this leadership skill. He said he observed himself one time. He was driving into his driveway and he looked at his neighbor, and his neighbor was out front playing with the kids. And they were laughing and having this good time. So he observed himself going into his house, and there was his daughter on the phone in the kitchen. And he said, "Hey, sweetie." And his response from his daughter was this: nothing. She just kept talking on the phone. So then he moved into the family room, and there was his son laying on the floor playing video games in front of the TV. And he said, "Hello, son." And his son just ignored him, kept playing the video games. And he wanted to change this because the relationship with his son and daughter were, of course, a priority. And so he said, the next time on his way home, he said, I'm going to celebrate something. I'm going to find something to celebrate in my home. And so little by little, he began to come home and he began to acknowledge the people in his life. He began to acknowledge his wife and thank her. It sounds so simple, and yet are we doing it enough? And he began to acknowledge his daughter, homework, the things that she was doing with her friends. He began to acknowledge his son. It was a question that he asked on his way home each night. What will I celebrate with my family tonight? I saw this gentleman 12 weeks later, and he shared with me, he said, "Craig, I'd like to tell you that it's transformed." He said, "But I'm looking at progress, and we've certainly made 10% of the progress." I said, "How so?" He said, "Well, the other day," he said, "I walked in, and my daughter was on the phone, and I said, 'Hello, sweetie,' and she gave me one of these. She waved at me." He said, "Now, that's progress, that's 10%. He said, and then I walked into my son's room, and he was on the bed playing a video game, and he said, "Hello, son." And he said, my son responded by saying, "Hey, Dad, you want to play a video game with me?" He said, "Now, truthfully, I would rather go for a hike. I would rather do something different than play a video game with my son, but my son's engaged with me." And he says, "That's the progress I'm looking for, Craig." What will you celebrate? Where will you celebrate? Where will you take this next step in this important leadership aspect? The best is ahead.